This shout out goes to all my keto friends and anyone doing low carb or someone who just wants to experiment and try something different. Keto Ravioli. So good. Good morning, everyone. Well, I guess I should say good afternoon because it is lunchtime. So today, for all of my keto friends, I'm gonna make keto ravioli. So come and join us. I am going to first make the meat, which I have some ground beef. You can use other meats such as like ground pork, ground turkey, ground chicken. For vegetarians even, you could use, they make like it's like a vegetarian kind of meat sauce thing. You can use that instead and fry that up. So we're just gonna go ahead and cook up the meat. I've got my induction oven today, using because I have enough power to cook with it today. On days that I don't have enough power, I will use the propane stove, which just uses a little little green propane tanks. So for anybody who does van life or even lives in a small space, these they're Magna pots and pans. They are very cool. They're stainless steel. You can get them in non-stick pan as well, and you can literally, the handle just literally slides up, clips into place, and kind of goes from there. Okay, so first we're going to cook the meat. So we're just going to go ahead and power that on. So while the meat's cooking, I'll go ahead and I'll take the mozzarella. This will be the crust of the ravioli, and I'll slice that up. So what I basically do here, so basically what you want to do is you want to take the cheese slice, cut them in half, till they form these triangles. I usually do that with a couple slices, maybe 3, maybe 4. And then I'll put them onto a little oven rack, which I use. It's just a small one. And on this one specifically, I just line it just like this. Now we're not going to cook that yet, because we're going to continue making sure that the meat is cooked. Also, the 2 spices that I use are salt and pepper. I don't usually put anything else on it. Doesn't need anything else. You can add some spice for some flavor, but ideally, yeah, just salt and pepper. I don't really measure my salt and pepper. I just do it to taste. So if you like more saltier meat, then add more salt. If you like it to be more peppery, add more pepper. What I'm going to do as well is I'm going to add the recipe to the bottom of the description, and then that way I can show you exactly what I use. I'll run through it really quickly. I do a half a pound of meat. I buy a package of the mozzarella. You want to get some cream cheese, and then what you want to do also is make sure that you have a marinara of some sort or a sauce. I go for a red sauce. Today I'm using tomato and basil because that's what was on sale. Okay, so the meat is almost finished being cooked. So what I do then now is I'll get a bowl, because I'm gonna actually transfer the meat into the bowl, and that's where I'm gonna mix in a little bit of cream cheese with it, but I wanna drain the extra fat from the meat itself, just because otherwise it just becomes too runny. So usually what I do is about, I don't know, 3 tablespoons of cream cheese is what I'll add into the bowl. Okay, so the meat is now finished. A lot of the fat is actually burnt off. Probably the temperature that I'm using, and also I didn't get a super fatty ground beef. So I'm actually just going to toss the entire thing right into the bowl that I have the cream cheese. And we're going to put that aside. Move it out of the way for the induction to cool down. And then I'm going to start mixing the meat with the cream cheese. Because the meat's still hot, it melts the cream cheese, making the mixture a little easier to combine. Perfect. So when it looks like this, it's basically ready. So what I'll do now is I'll cook the cheese. You want to cook the cheese about 350 degrees. So I'll go ahead and I'll turn that on now. And that goes on for between 3 and 5 minutes. Okay, so it looks like the cheese is starting to melt exactly the way we want it to. So we'll bring it out. So we have to let the cheese cool off a little bit, because as you can see, it's still a little bubbly. So in the meantime, what I'll do then is I'll mix up the meat sauce again just a little bit. But what you want to do now is just add a little bit of meat. And then what you want to do, because these are stuck, I'm just going to separate them a little bit here. Okay, so what you do next is you want to fold them over. And then what I usually do is I'll press down a little bit on the sides, and then it kind of closes them in. Okay, so that's what they look like once they've been folded over. And we'll transfer those from the pan to a plate. Okay, so once they've been transferred onto the plate, we'll go ahead and we'll just add a little bit of sauce to them. Usually what I do is honestly just a little bit. Especially when you're keto, you don't really need a lot of red sauce for a lot of flavor. It just turns out to be really, really awesome. And then they're ready to go. So there you have it. Once they're made, they're good to eat. I haven't had them in the fridge overnight to see how they are the next day. Pretty much they're so good that I just eat them as I make them. And then they're really good. I personally think that they taste just like regular ravioli. And they're super, super easy to eat. And like I said, they're keto friendly. So for my friends that are keto, shout out to you. And I hope that you try this recipe out, as it's really good. And yeah, until the next video, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.